Big broadcast, coast to coast, border to border. By the way, if you missed Coach Carl's interview, it's up on our website, JiggyJaguar.com. We are going to go to PR executive, Mr. Druxman, here in a few seconds. He is, of course, brought to us today by the great Erwin Zucker.
Hello.
There is our guest, I believe. Michael, how are you, sir? It's James Lowe from iHeartRadio.
Hi, how are you?
How are you, sir?
Nice to talk to you.
Yes, I got a phone call earlier this week from the great Erwin Zucker, Promotion in Motion, and he's like, "I have a guest for you," and I said, "Okay," and he's like, "This guy is dynamic. He is amazing," and he just starts going off on you, talking. He built you up.
What a liar!
What a liar! And,
I've never been called dynamic before.
You are dynamic. He even put it in my notes here. He said your first guest.
Well, if you put it in, I guess it must be true.
He says your first guest is the dynamic author Michael Druxman, a former top PR executive in Hollywood. His book is hilarious with 3 exclamation points. I've never had a guest that had 3 exclamation points after their.
Only 3?
Only 3.
Oh my God!
And he says it will probably be made
talk
into a
about
movie.
That. Only 3.
Only 3. There it is.
Yeah.
Now, Michael, let's talk a little bit about this. A lot of folks, including Erwin, are saying this will probably be made into a movie.
I hope so.
Tell me a little bit about this book and everything that you're working on out there in Austin, Texas.
Well, the name of the book is Jackie Goes to Dixie.
Okay.
And it's available on Amazon. It's available on Kindle, in paperback, and then on Kindle. And it's about it takes place in the 1970s.
Okay.
It's about a Las Vegas comedian by the name of Jackie Moss, who is he's sort of a Don Rickles, brash Jewish comedian.
Yes.
And by accident, he's booked into a one-night gig deep in the Ozark Mountains of Arkansas. Now, it was an accident. The people who booked him made a mistake. They thought they were booking a country western singer by the name of Jiggy. So,
fantastic.
So Jackie gets there, and you can imagine the problems he runs into.
Yes.
I mean, it's not his audience.
You hit that on the head. Wow, my man. So, was this inspired by someone you worked with out there in Hollywood when you were out there and you were a PR exec, or?
Well, when I had my own public relations business for over 30 years.
Yes.
And
yes.
I represented a lot of comedians. I represented Jack Carter. I represented Jackie Vernon, Stanley Myron Handelman, Rip Taylor. And so it's not based on any one of them, but, from my, I knew Rickles. But it's inspired by that world.
Okay.
And where the Ozarks part came, I have no idea. I usually, if I can tell you where I got it, where an idea came from for the other things I've written, but I don't remember where the Ozarks thing came from on this. Maybe I was thinking of Deliverance. I don't know, which came out in the 70s.
Now, with this book, what do you want readers to take away from your writing of this book?
I want them to be entertained. They don't have to learn anything. I just think that if people, this is a fun read. When I was writing for film, I never got a chance to write light. They always wanted me to write science fiction or gangster movies or westerns. I never got to write light. And now that in my novels, I can write light. And I just think it's a fun read.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Barbara Eden thinks so. She gave me a quote for the book.
That's pretty cool. I got to meet Barbara Eden at a Comic-Con a couple years ago. That was
really? Well, I've known Barbara for years. In fact, former husband Michael and Sarah was my best friend. For many years. I've known Barbara since the late '60s.
Fantastic.
I'm that old.
No, you're right on pace there, my friend. You're right on pace.
On my birthday this last year, they played 76 trombones. So you get an idea how old I am.
Yes,
I wasn't leading a parade.
No. We are talking with the, as Erwin Zucker likes to call him, the dynamic author, Michael Druxman, a former top PR executive in Hollywood. His new book is hilarious with 3 exclamation points, and it will probably be made into a movie. He joins us today here in our broadcast. He's got a lot of great information. He's already given us a lot of great information here. This book, I'm sure, took a heck of a long time to put together. Tell me about the writing process for the book.
Well, looking back at my computer, it started out as a screenplay, almost 20 years ago, and I got about halfway through, and I went into a writer's block, put it aside, and several years later, I said, why don't I turn it into a novel? And I got a little further, and I ran into it and put it aside. And then about a year or so ago, this is a great story. I'm going to finish it. And I kind of came up with an idea how to finish it, and I finished it, and it was published on July 4th.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. We've got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here in our broadcast. Now, your latest book here, we're talking about Jackie Goes to Dixie, has all the makings of a film. You've developed this book. If you were to be able to cast this movie, who would you put in some of the slots that some of the different characters in the book? Because you mentioned the you've known all the greats. You've known Rickles and all these guys. Who would you put in? Obviously, Don Rickles couldn't be cast in this movie unless we CGI'd him. But
right.
But
well, 3 people come to mind.
Okay.
Off the top of my head, Billy Crystal, I think would be great. I think that Tony Shalhoub could do it.
Wow.
And Albert Brooks. I think any one of them would be a great choice to play Jackie Moss.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
We've got a great guest with us today. Michael Druxman joins us. His latest book, Jackie Goes to Dixie. And you were a top PR executive for many of the stars. You really know Hollywood.
For over 30 years.
And now, who were some of the, we were talking about some of the different names you've worked with. What did you learn from some of the folks that you worked with out there in Hollywood?
Oh, I don't know. That's a difficult question. You learn how to deal with people, how to solve problems. Because they'll have problems. You have to solve them, and but it was a lot of fun. It's something I wanted to be in the entertainment industry all my life, and from when I was 4 years old, I saw Pinocchio. And they sang "Hey Diddly Dee," An Actor's Life for me. And from that point on, I never wanted anything else but to get in the show business.
That is awesome.
Yeah. I started as a publicist, and I started writing books, and then I started writing stage plays and movies, and did some directing. And so I really have done everything I've ever wanted to do except win an Academy Award. But I'm still young.
Name a few that you've directed.
Yes. Some of the different movies and some of the different projects you've worked on. Talk to us a little bit about some of that stuff.
Well, the film I'm most proud of.
What would we know? What would we know you from? If you gave us a title, I could go, aha, Michael Druxman.
Well, did you see The Godfather?
Oh. Okay.
I didn't direct. I didn't have anything to do with that.
Oh, yeah. That is awesome.
But I did. Wait a minute. That's not quite correct because three of the actors in that movie became publicity clients of mine. Abe Vigoda. Richard
TV's
Castellano.
Fish, baby.
Fish, yeah.
Ah,
Fish
yes.
was one of my dearest friends.
That
He
is
passed
awesome.
away about a year or so ago.
That is awesome.
Richard Castellano and Julie Gregg, who played James Caan's wife in the first one. They were all
Wow.
clients of mine.
Wow.
And no, the one movie that I wrote, which I'm very proud of, is called Cheyenne Warrior. And it came out, it was with Kelly Preston and Dan Haggerty, Paul Hopkins. It came out in, I believe it was 94.
Yeah.
And I still get fan mail on that. It's obviously a Western, and I still
Yes.
get fan mail on that.
That is that is pretty awesome. I know that there's a lot of we have a lot of movie buffs in our audience. I wish I could be a buff. I've been trying to figure out what it would take to be a buff, but we have a lot of.
You just have to see a lot of movies. You know?
Oh, okay.
You know something interesting? I never took a class in screenwriting. You know how I learned how to write movies? From as far back as going to movies. When I was a kid, I'd go to 2 movies a week. I'd go Saturday and Sunday. I'd go to 2 movies a week, and I sort of learned structure and character and I looked at a couple screenplays to see format.
Yeah.
But everything I know about screenwriting, I learned from going to movies, and it just became a part of me.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That is pretty awesome. We've got a great guest with us today. He joins us live. Michael Druxman here on iHeartRadio and AMFM247.com. And, of course, Talk America Live today, talking about Jackie Goes to Dixie, his latest book. Now, how do you get ideas for your books? Who are some of your inspiration? Or what is your inspiration?
Well, listen. Well, let me see. Cheyenne Warrior. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Michael and Sarah, my friend Michael, who played Cochise on the old Broken Arrow TV series,
Oh, wow.
and was really the first Klingon on Star Wars. But I was at his house one day, and he had just auditioned for a movie where they wanted him to play an Indian.
Yeah.
Who and a relationship. I think it eventually became Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
Wow.
That's the old series. And he mentioned this to me. This is before they even shut the. And I said, wouldn't it be great to do The King and I as a Western, non-musical? And that was the impetus of Cheyenne Warrior.
Wow.
A white woman and a romantic relationship with an Indian chief.
Holy smokes.
And it took me, 15, 20 years before I wrote it. I wrote a film called Dillinger and Capone, which starred Martin Sheen and F. Murray Abraham. And the idea for that, I had always been fascinated by Dillinger. And one day we were going to see, we were on our way to see the movie The Untouchables, which is about Al Capone. And I said,
Yeah.
John Dillinger meets Al Capone. And that was that's where that sprang from.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
I had years ago, I had a friend, when I lived in Los Angeles, I had a friend who lived up in Santa Barbara. And Reagan had been in office about a year. And I was talking to my friend, and he was telling me about a friend of his. Their 2 kids happened to wander onto Reagan's ranch, the back part of Reagan's ranch, and within minutes,
They just wondered.
the helicopters and the Secret Service.
Oh, I bet.
Surrounding these little kids. And I came up with an idea. What if you lived next door to the President of the United States and you hated him? And I wound up, I wrote a play.
That's awesome.
Called
Michael Druxman today. This is awesome.
Hail on the Chief, which has been recorded. If you want to hear it, you can download it from audio. Audio.
This is a pretty awesome awesome
ideas
interview
come from.
today.
You never know where they come from.
You never know, my man. You never know.
I'm writing a novel right now called, the tentative title is Dark Chasm, and it's
Dark Chasm.
Many years ago, I was taking a tour of the Luray caverns in the Shenandoah Mountains, and I said to myself, what if people started disappearing on these tours?
That's awesome. Now, we've got Michael Druxman with us today. His latest book, Jackie Goes to Dixie. Of course, I have to ask you, because I always have to, if you're watching us on video, on Ustream, if drama is here and I am here, I'm running that way. And I'm doing that whole gimmick. But I have to ask, without naming names, and heck, if you want to name names, go ahead. It's just iHeartRadio and worldwide television, worldwide radio. It's fine. Are there some Hollywood stars you were not fond of? Maybe some that still owe you money.
Yeah, actually, there's a very famous comedian who's still alive, so I won't mention his name.
Dang it.
Who stiffed me, and I sued him in small claims court and never collected. I won, but I never collected. And a very famous comedian.
Is his name Mark Maron?
In fact, a couple years later,
I don't like Mark Maron.
He lives in New York, and a couple years later, he had a gig in Los Angeles. So I said, "Aha! I'm gonna get him."
Oh,
money.
You went to the gig.
I went down and I got a marshal's order, and I took, I don't know what the legal term is, but where they could attach his salary.
Oh, awesome! You went down to get the paycheck,
down to the
baby.
sheriff's office, and I gave it to him. He says, "Oh, you too?"
That's amazing.
But I didn't get the money because he had arranged to be paid in advance in New York, so we weren't able to get the money.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. We've got author Michael Druxman with us today. He was a top PR executive in Hollywood for many years, and he's got a great book out, Jackie Goes to Dixie. We've got a couple more minutes here before we got to take our commercial break. Then we got to come back. Frank Vernuccio will join us, and then we are going to get ready for the top of the hour with our and Michael, if you can believe we're going to do this today, we're going to be talking about how to make soap. We're going to be interviewing someone about how to make soap. We're going to belly dance. And I'm not going to belly dance. God knows the world doesn't need to see that. And then we're going to do something else. It's amazing. And you're at the head of the pack today for this cavalcade of craziness.
I said, I've got 3 exclamation marks. What do you want?
There you go. See, it is Jackie Goes to Dixie, the latest book. Michael Druxman with us today here in a broadcast. Now, how does life in Austin, Texas, compare with life in Hollywood? One of your books is My 45 Years in Hollywood and How I Escaped Alive. How did you really escape and move to Texas about 8 years ago, and why? And are you happy with the transition, my friend? Because they're trying to get me to go to Alaska. I'm trying to get everything figured out here.
13 years old. I went on a tour. We went on one of those cruises, my folks. But I find it very peaceful. And I've been back to Los Angeles. We've been here for over 8 years. And I've been back to Los Angeles 3, maybe 4 times.
Fantastic.
And it's not what I remember. It's not the town, the business is not what it was. And I miss the serious part of the business, but it doesn't exist anymore. The business that I loved is not there anymore. And
that's how I feel. That's how I feel about the professional wrestling business. But
was it ever there anymore?
See, that's the thing.
Legitimate wrestling.
That's the thing. Was it ever there? It's kind of like somebody says, professional wrestling, it's fixed, and I'm like, I didn't even know it was broke.
Well, you know something. When I was a kid, I went to a professional wrestling match, and I was sitting in a position, and where the one wrestler took a swing at the other wrestler, and he missed him by 2 feet, and the guy went down.
Oh.
I'll never forget that.
Was that the opening match?
No.
Or these main event guys?
I think it was the main event.
The main event, of course. It is Michael Druxman with us today. Jackie Goes to Dixie, the latest book. And before we let you go, my friend, if people want to correspond with you online, websites, social media, all that fun stuff, how do we get a hold of you, my friend?
Well, my website is druxmanworks, D as in David, RUXMAN, works, WORKS.com.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Well, we will. I will definitely hit you up on email. Definitely going to hit you up via the website. I would love to have you back on.
I enjoyed this.
I would love to have you on the Sunday show sometime because I think that would be a cavalcade of craziness.
That's great.
We would love to chat with you there, especially after all these people you talked about with the comedians that owe you money and all this. I got to know more, and maybe we can get Irwin to get a 4th exclamation point put on that email when he sends.
Well, I think I'm entitled.
I think you're entitled to it now.
So as soon as we're done with this call, I'm calling Irwin, and I'm really going to tell him. I'm going to read him the riot act.
That's right. Read him the riot act,
3
my friend.
exclamation marks.
How could you, Irwin? And if you do, he'll call me Monday, and he'll be like, I got to tell you that Michael Druxman, he just raved about you. And he had something about exclamation points. I don't know what the hell he was talking about. But I got a good guess for you tomorrow. That's what he's going to tell me when he calls me Monday. Now, Michael, have yourself a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Tuesday, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you, brother. That'll be Michael Druxman. We're going to take a brief time out. We are going to get Frank Vernuccio in here. We are going to get our studio guests all lined out and ready to go. As I mentioned, we're going to do soap. We're going to do belly dancing. Not me. I'm not going to make the soap or do the belly dancing because I've seen what happens when women get around trying to make soap. If you've ever seen the Japanese detergent commercial, I'm not getting shoved into the washer. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we've got more coming up. Transmedia worldwide. Do you need extra money to fund your business? Have you been unable to get financing from your bank? If that's the case, you may be eligible for an amazing new funding program that provides money for businesses like yours. A mom-and-pop merchant solutions help small and medium-sized business owners like you to get the cash needed to build and grow a successful business. Whether you have good or bad credit, use the money to renovate, expand, buy out partnerships, increase inventory.